Hey, what's up? I'm Corey Congilio from Martin Guitar here today at American Musical Supply talking about a killer series from Martin Guitar, the Modern Deluxe. There are 4 instruments in the Modern Deluxe series. I'm going to talk and play all of them for you. But there's so many features added to this series that we really want to make sure we target all of them and talk about how special they are for each specific model and body size. I'm holding the D18 Modern Deluxe right now, and that's the one you heard me play first. You know, as we know from many, many years of construction, the D18 is built with mahogany back and sides and a solid Sitka spruce top. Now, all of the tops on the Modern Deluxe guitars are made of solid Sitka spruce with Adirondack bracing, but they have the VTS vintage tone system applied to them. Now, this is a really fantastic system that Martin's been using for a number of years that really brings the wood to basically a process that puts it in a sound that you would associate with a vintage Martin. You know, those are a fantastic representation of what the Martin sound is that folks that always covet this brand are after. So you can really get that in a Modern Deluxe from Martin. The VTS top really makes a new guitar sound like it's been brought back from a time machine. Trust me, you got to play one. It's like nothing else you've ever experienced. All of the guitars have this. One of the things you'll notice too aesthetically with these guitars, you get a really lovely pearl inlay here, the Martin logo, and you'll notice that it has a wood binding here on the D18. This is a rosewood binding. It really sets it off nicely. There's a lot of other features on these guitars, but we want to hear them too. So let's maybe jump over to the D28 Modern Deluxe and talk about a few other things after I play it. All right, so you just heard a little bit of the D28 Modern Deluxe. I started out playing a similar idea from the D18, musically that is, because I really wanted you to hear the difference between the D18 and the D28. If you're new to those kinds of tone woods, you got to realize that mahogany and rosewood are really drastically different, but offer wonderful tones as far as your palette goes, right? The mahogany probably to your ear had a more airy, flat-sounding response, really wonderful for single-line playing, singer-songwriter accompaniment, you name it. The rosewood back and sides on the D28 Modern Deluxe will have a richer, more complex sort of harmonic tone for sure. You know, it's a more dense wood, and it'll really get you just some different sounds that you're not going to hear out of the D18. So I wanted to make sure I played a couple examples there that you could really acclimate your ear. But let's talk about a couple other features of the Modern Deluxe and what makes them special. Now, one of the coolest things about this series is how light they are. These are incredibly light instruments. If you pick up an acoustic guitar and it's really lightweight, chances are you know it's going to sound good before you strum it. And way back when, guitars had truss rods that were just perhaps ebony in the neck. There weren't even adjustable truss rods for a long time. And what that did was it offered a very lightweight material inside the neck. The adjustable truss rods that we've come to know can be a little heavy and add some weight to the instrument. Martin has employed a titanium truss rod in the Modern Deluxe series, which really lightens up the guitar. The titanium truss rod is almost half the weight of a standard issue adjustable truss rod. So it's a really nice addition by subtraction to this guitar. It's one of the things that really makes the sound sort of jump out of this guitar also. In addition to that, you can't see the truss rod, obviously, and you also can't see the carbon fiber bridge plate that's inside the guitar as well. It's a piece of spruce sandwiched between 2 strips of carbon fiber. It literally reflects tone and sends it out and almost has a pitch to it as well. It's really pretty an incredible addition to a guitar of this type. This is, you know, 21st century type stuff here. This is futuristic guitar building, but yet really makes it sound traditional. Okay, so that's some really cool stuff that's on the Modern Deluxe series throughout the entire line. Let's play a couple more guitars and talk about what else you're going to get in this great series. All right, so this is the 0028 Modern Deluxe. It's a really special guitar in the Modern Deluxe series because a 000 is, something that if you don't have a smaller body guitar in your arsenal, look no further. This is a great place to end up, let me tell you. The D28 is made of East Indian rosewood back and sides, and the 0028 follows suit. You can see it's a fantastic sounding wood, really looks great, and it's what Martin's been using for many, many years. But when you're in the 28 series with the Modern Deluxe, you'll notice the appointments. They have the herringbone around the binding here, and you'll also have really cool flame maple binding on the sides here as well. So that really sets it off. It's a little sort of extra trim, if you will, in this series that is just a little bit more attractive than your standard bound guitar. One of the things that you need to consider too is we're going to be looking at the OM as well. The 000 and the OM body sizes are exactly the same, but this guitar has a shorter scale length. This is a 24.9 scale length, and I was playing that example like I've been doing across all guitars. I can automatically feel that the strings are slinkier because the scale isn't as long as a Dreadnought or an OM. This is great if you're somebody that is maybe a blues player. You can really bend those strings a little bit more, and there's a little more give to it. And it also adds for more of a maybe pillowy low end. It's not as punchy and tight. It's got this sort of softer low end. The overall guitar is a little softer in its attack. These guitars that have longer scales have a little bit more brighter attack to them, which is great for single line playing and finger style, but man, a 000 is pretty hard to beat if you don't have one. You're going to get a tortoise pick guard. You're going to get a new neck design on these as well. Let me talk about that on the next one too, but really, we're just building really cool aesthetics as well as some things that are going on underneath the hood of these instruments that make them special. So let's play the OM and we'll wrap it up and talk about some other components of these guitars. All right, so last but not least, this is the OM28 Modern Deluxe. Now, the OM has the longer scale than the 0028. So what is this good for? Well, think of it like a Dreadnought that's a little bit shorter in depth, a little shallower. Doesn't have quite the low-end woof or punch, but it's really got the projection that a Dreadnought has. And I played, in addition to the normal thing I've been doing to demo the guitars, more of a finger style idea like that, because you can hear how those notes kind of all come out together, really balanced tone, great amount of brightness that cuts through. It's hard to choose because they all sound really good. But let's talk about a couple other features of the Modern Deluxe that really set it apart from any other guitar Martin has ever made, for sure. All of the guitars have open gear Waverly tuners. So again, it's a lighter tuner, really solid tuning mechanism all around, favored by acoustic players for many, many years. The neck shape is called the Vintage Deluxe neck shape, and it was fashioned after the OM45 Deluxe in our museum. So it's asymmetrical. It's a little beefier on the low end side, but feels really good as we move up the guitar. It's closer to more of a, if a vintage neck and a modern neck could really be married together, that's what it feels like to me. You'll notice these frets have a goldish hue to them. This Evo style fret really is somewhere between a stainless steel and a nickel fret. It's really strong, sounds great, and just happens to give off that goldish hue that matches your tuners, right? So once again, as we go down the guitar, you'll notice OM guitars generally have more of the teardrop pickguard shape. Same thing holds suit here. The Liquidmetal bridge pins are installed in all of the Modern Deluxe guitars. These pins have been tested to generate almost 3 dB more volume than a standard bridge pin. So these things are workhorses. They're just throwing the sound out for days, absolutely. They're constructed with a protein glue as well, which is more in line with like what an authentic series guitar would be constructed from. So you can check out any of the guitars in the Modern Deluxe line or any Martin guitar at AmericanMusical.com.